This is
What's up? It's your boy Stevie83, and I'm back with another react. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm reacting to Bodycam footage just released of Juice WRLD's overdose, accidental overdose. Some people are speculating that he took the pills because he knew the feds were down there and they knew they were packing a lot of weight, and he took them just so he didn't get caught with them. I don't think that's what happened, because me being a recovering addict, I know what's up. I know what time he was on. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like that, probably.
Bodycam footage that has the entire
people crazy
hip-hop community talking. After 4 years, we finally have the raw, uncut truth about Juice WRLD's final moments.
It's been 4
and boy,
years.
It's terrifying. What happened at that airport will shock you, and the police response will leave you asking serious questions. Let's get into it. The footage that shocked the world.
Before we get into it, anybody struggling with addiction, whether it be gambling, whether it be pills, whether it be drinking, whether it be sex, whether it be whatever, if you're struggling with any problems like that, here's a number on the screen right now to call if you need help. Put it on the screen, put it on the refrigerator for somebody in case you've got a family member that is struggling with addiction. Keep it up there. You might need it one day.
New Bodycam footage of Juice WRLD's final moments just dropped, showing the real deal from December 8th, 2019, the day we lost one of the realest young artists to ever bless the game. This isn't just some regular police footage drop. This is raw, uncut footage of a 21-year-old superstar's last moments, and it hits different than anything we've seen before. The footage came through official channels, probably from some legal stuff or public records requests, and it went viral faster than a fire track on TikTok. But this wasn't the good kind of viral. This was some heavy, disturbing content that split people right down the middle about what should and shouldn't be shared when it comes to somebody's final moments. Let's keep it 100 about who Juice WRLD really was before that tragic December day. Jared Anthony Higgins came up from nothing, grinding on SoundCloud until he became a worldwide phenomenon. His breakthrough hit Lucid Dreams went crazy, hitting #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and going diamond, setting him up for what everyone thought would be a legendary career.
Lucid Dreams was the smash. Everybody loved. Now, what was the idea and the feeling of Lucid Dreams?
It's funny because I wrote that song in like 15 minutes. And then on the original mixtape that it was on, I didn't think that was gonna be it was just another song. Obviously I liked it enough to put it on the project.
But fame came with a price that was way too steep. Juice kept it 100 about his demons, the mental health struggles, the addiction issues that became the backbone of his music. He was real about using Xanax, perks, and lean, and millions of young fans connected with that pain because they were going through the same struggles in their own lives.
And I don't feel like a lot of guys express that too much.
No. And the people that do, like, people be ready to make fun of them for it when they got the same feelings. They just scared to say it, you know? But like, I feel like as far as I didn't know that many people was gonna be able to relate to heart. It surprised me how many people related to that song. You know,
everybody has their heart broken.
But they don't talk about it.
But a lot of people don't.
Especially
talk
guys.
about it, though.
Girls talk about it, but guys don't do songs expressing how heartbroken they were.
December 8th, 2019. Juice was flying private from Cali to Chicago's Midway Airport when everything went sideways. The feds were already waiting for him, tipped off about contraband on the plane. What went down next became one of the most controversial situations in hip-hop history.
Who was that punk driver? Pilot, whatever. Who was he? Like, who was he or whoever tipped off the feds? Who was that mole?
The newly released Bodycam footage shows exactly how tragic that day was.
That's lean
and it's
right
heartbreaking to watch.
I know
the
what
footage
that bottle
captures
was.
Juice having a seizure, all the chaos that followed, and the desperate attempts to save his life. But what's really messed up is how it shows cops who seem more worried about their investigation than helping a young man who was dying right in front of them.
I think I got one.
The audio from that footage hits you right in the chest. Ali Lottie, Juice's girl at the time, can be heard saying, "You're gonna be okay, baby," trying to comfort him.
Now, I'm not going to share any names or anything, but I came home. Well, not came home. I was with a person. I'm not going to name any names, but we showed up to a house for a birthday celebration, and I walked back to the back bedroom, and I found someone unresponsive due to a drug overdose. And I'm sorry to say that person didn't make it, but I know how it feels to be in a chaotic situation like this. And I have never seen anyone walking around as slow and as nonchalant as these paramedics and police were when this was happening.
Him during his medical emergency. Her voice, full of panic and desperation,
chaotic.
Reminds you that this wasn't just about losing a talented artist. This was about real people experiencing real trauma. The footage also shows Chris Long, a photographer who was there, getting arrested while Juice was having his medical emergency. The body cam shows people getting handcuffed while Juice WRLD was in distress, which has fans and critics asking serious questions about police priorities when someone's life is on the line.
Yeah, some boots. Yeah. You sit down, man.
See?
You got a belt on? Yeah. You want that too? Yeah.
When this footage hit social media, the reaction was immediate and intense. User at Most Hip Hop posted saying sharing the body cam footage of Juice WRLD's final moments is actual disgusting behavior, speaking for a lot of people who felt like sharing someone's death was crossing the line. The streets were divided on this one.
If it's crossing the line, it's already been shared millions of times already. Not the actual body cam footage, but I'm sure it's been put out there so many times already.
Bobby24 said it was disrespectful to Juice's family and they should let him rest in peace. But others, like at Yazuzia, argued that even though sharing it was wrong, it exposed the police's lack of care, suggesting the footage could show how messed up law enforcement's response really was.
Let's look at it from a wider scope here, ladies and gentlemen. We can all disagree, but we got to disagree humbly. Like, you can have your opinion, I can have mine, but we got to be grown enough to say, hey, we're fine with that.
The tension between wanting transparency and respecting human dignity. Some people argue that footage like this serves the public by showing what really happens when police interact with people during emergencies.
Exactly.
Others think sharing someone's final moments is exploitative and causes more pain.
And another thing, his mom actually advocates for this kind of stuff. I know it's not taking any away from hers or Juice WRLD's thing. I'm not trying to diminish it in any way. I'm just saying she's strong enough to talk about it because she advocates. I'm sure she talks about it on a daily basis. I know she thinks about it a million times a day, but just talking about it with others.
Pain to grieving families. As one Instagram user pointed out, I know it's bad, but the police have to legally release the body cam footage as they do, suggesting the release might have been required by law rather than someone's choice.
No, it's got to be
raises
released
questions
unless
about laws
someone has it court-ordered to be suppressed.
Around releasing sensitive police footage, especially when it involves death and trauma. The timing of this release, coming over 4 years after Juice's death, made it even more controversial. For his family and fans who were starting to heal, seeing this footage brought back all that pain and trauma. Why did it take so long for this to come out? Was someone trying to keep it buried? Most importantly, this footage has people re-examining what really happened when Juice died. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of oxycodone and codeine, but the body cam footage raises new questions about whether law enforcement's actions played a role in the tragedy. The search happening when Juice had his seizure wasn't random. Federal agents and Chicago police were taking drugs and guns from luggage when it happened, which means they knew what they were looking for before they even got there. This has people wondering if the stress from the investigation made Juice take the drugs that would end up killing him. As we dig deeper into this story, it's clear that this body cam footage release is about way more than just satisfying curiosity. It's about accountability, transparency, and trying to balance the public's right to know with respecting human dignity. It's about mental health, addiction, and the pressures young artists face in the music industry. And it's about the continuing legacy of a young man whose life was cut short, but whose impact is still felt years later. The controversies that had everyone heated. When that body cam footage of Juice WRLD's last moments hit the internet, it didn't just go viral. It started a whole firestorm that exposed some real problems with how police handle situations when someone's life is on the line. What that footage showed about Chicago PD's response had people heated and demanding answers about how law enforcement deals with medical emergencies, especially when it involves celebrities and ongoing investigations. The most damaging part of the footage was how cold.
Now that shouldn't be. There should be no difference between celebrities or other people. I mean, I know there is a difference, but the time it takes you to react to an emergency should be you should use the same speed for everybody, no matter what their status is.
Some of those officers seemed while Juice was having his seizure. The footage showed police not moving fast enough to help Juice while he was seizing, with one female officer looking frantic, while other officers seemed like they didn't care. That lack of urgency became the main criticism, with people saying the cops cared more about their case than saving a life. The difference between how the officers reacted really stood out and had social media going crazy. Reddit users were some of the most vocal critics, expressing shock at what they witnessed. Comments on Reddit included reactions like, "They didn't help him at all," showing how angry and disbelieving people felt watching that footage. This led to accusations of negligence and serious questions about whether police are properly trained for medical emergencies. But the controversy goes way beyond just how they responded to Juice's seizure. One of the most messed up parts was the decision to handcuff and arrest people while a medical emergency was happening right in front of them. The footage shows Chris Long, the videographer, and others getting handcuffed while Juice WRLD was in distress, which has been widely criticized as having the wrong priorities. Chris Long's own account of what happened that day gives crucial context for understanding the controversy. In an emotional interview, he talked about the events leading up to Juice's death and the conversations they had about getting help for his addiction.
You know, like, and I'm like, I know it's hard, and you think, you know, you get mad or whatever, and it was an emotional moment. You know, I told him too, I'm like, bro, like, there was one point I'm like, I will do as many pills as you do every day for a month. If you go to rehab, I'll go to rehab with you. Like, if that's what it takes. You know what I mean? Like,
the optics of this whole situation are terrible for law enforcement. Here you have a young brother having a seizure, possibly dying, and instead of everyone focusing on medical help, officers were worried about making arrests and continuing their investigation. Discussions on platforms like KT2.com show.
Like, enlighten me, man. I know there's some people out there that's got this knowledge. A seizure, is that when your brain actually, like a little vein in your brain busts or something? Or is that a brain aneurysm? Or what's the difference? Please enlighten me in the comments section.
This frustration, with users saying, "F those pigs," they were more concerned with arresting everyone and didn't give if he lived or not. Chris Long's account of the last real conversation he had with Juice shows how deep their concern was about his addiction.
Like, if that's what it takes, you know what I mean? Like, and then like, we were walking in the bathroom and we had that little talk, and I'm like, we love you, we just, you know what I mean? And he's like, I don't want to stop. I go, you don't want to stop, you're out of control. You know what I mean? So
this raises real questions about police protocols and training. When a medical emergency,
I didn't want to stop either, but there's something in your life, like if he, God rest his soul, but if he would have made it to see longer in life, his mind would have matured more, and he would have been like,
emergency happens during an investigation, what should come first? Should officers immediately shift all resources to medical help, or should they keep doing their law enforcement job while medical professionals handle the emergency? The footage suggests that in this case, the investigation came first, and many argue that this priority structure contributed to a delayed and inadequate response. The timing of the ambulance call became another major controversy. Reports suggest police delayed calling an ambulance, focusing on taking guns and drugs first. If that's true, it represents a massive failure in emergency response. Every second counts during a medical emergency, especially one involving a potential overdose. And any delay in calling for professional medical help could have meant life or death. Chris Long's detailed account of what happened on the plane and at the airport gives crucial insights into how everything went down.
We were going back to Chicago for his birthday. His mom was like renting out like a go-kart track for him and stuff. Like, but we were late for the plane. We were like really late for the plane, like 6 hours. Like Pete was like, yo, they're gonna cancel it on us. Pete wasn't there. He was calling like, they're gonna cancel it on us. Like, get it.
The delayed medical response becomes even more troubling when you consider the bigger picture. The search of Juice's plane wasn't a surprise.
Hold up. So he was 5 hours late for the plane. So that means they got the FBI. I'm trying to think like the FBI now. So the police got there probably on his initial time he was supposed to be there. So does that mean the FBI waited an extra 5 hours plus flight time? Man, that's a little sus, ain't it?
This means law enforcement knew they were walking into a potentially volatile situation involving drugs and firearms. Given this knowledge, you'd think they would have had medical personnel on standby, or at least had protocols for handling medical emergencies that might come up during such operations. The administration of Narcan, a drug used to reverse opioid overdoses.
And nobody's going to tell me that they didn't know it was Juice WRLD on that plane. They already was knowing he liked to get high.
has also become controversial. The footage mentions Narcan being given, though in 2019, not all officers carried it. While Juice was given Narcan, it didn't work because of how severe his condition was, which reportedly included internal bleeding. Reddit users noted that Juice coughed up coffee grain-like blood, indicating internal bleeding for a while. Narcan unlikely to save him, adding complexity to the debate over whether a faster response could have changed things. Chris Long described the chaotic scene when they realized something was seriously wrong.
You know, it was weird. That plane ride was weird. I actually had a bad feeling immediately.
I remember you telling me that.
And I was sitting down, and then the pilot was acting weird, the stewardess lady was acting weird, and I just felt something off, you know? I got up to like, yo, we should leave.
The emotional impact of the footage, especially capturing Ali Lottie's distress during the incident, added a deeply human element to the controversy. The footage captures Ali's emotional distress, with her cries and screams audible, highlighting how traumatic the event was for those present. Her pain serves as a stark reminder that while people debate protocols and procedures, real people were experiencing unimaginable trauma in those moments. Chris Long's memory of the moment everything went wrong is particularly heartbreaking.
And then that's when like all the chaos broke loose. He made this weird noise. It was like something I've never heard. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like a weird groaning noise or whatever. And then all of a sudden I look and he was just on the ground. And
they call that the death rattle. That's what I've heard. Let me know if y'all have heard that before.
The contrast between Ali's desperate attempts to comfort and help Juice and the apparent coldness of some officers has been particularly striking for people who watch the footage. Her grief and how her drug issues got worse after his death have been highlighted in discussions, showing the lasting impact of this tragedy on those who survived it. The account of how law enforcement handled things while Juice was having his medical emergency is particularly disturbing.
And then the cops kind of just grabbed us all and just handcuffed us all together, arm to arm. Everybody but Ali. Ali wouldn't
I ain't going for that.
Grabbed him, tried to put him on his side and stuff like that.
The broader implications of these controversies extend way beyond just this one incident. The footage has become a way to examine systemic issues in policing, particularly how law enforcement handles situations involving celebrities, medical emergencies, and ongoing criminal investigations. The criticism has been sharp and sustained, with widespread calls for police to be held accountable, with suggestions of legal action or disciplinary measures. Chris Long's description of the officer's response during the crisis highlights the controversy.
It seemed like all the cops there just didn't give a shit. Like they sat there very nonchalantly.
They never do.
And, like Ali's screaming to call 911. There was one female, I don't know, she was a cop. She seemed like she was in plain clothes, but I don't know what she was. But
some critics have gone further, arguing that the incident reflects broader patterns of how law enforcement treats black celebrities and artists. While racial dynamics weren't explicitly highlighted in the footage, the broader context of Juice's previous encounters with law enforcement, including a 2018 arrest at LaGuardia Airport for codeine and marijuana, has led some to question whether racial profiling played a role in the federal investigation that led to his death. The moment when Chris Long learned about his friend's death while in custody is particularly painful.
And then, I didn't find out he was gone until I was in jail. Like I was just in the holding cell. And then I was like, just, handcuffed to the wall.
Wow,
and
man.
Two detectives just walked in. They're like, literally verbatim, they're like, we don't give a shit about anything else. We just want to know about the kid that died. And I was like, what? I'm like, who died?
That is so heartless.
These controversies represent more than just criticism of individual officers or agencies. They reflect deeper systemic issues that affect how law enforcement operates in high-profile cases involving celebrities, drugs, and medical emergencies. The intensity of the public reaction suggests that this incident touched a nerve about police accountability and the value placed on human life during law enforcement operations. The real impact and what the streets learned. The viral spread of Juice WRLD's Bodycam footage did way more than just get people talking on social media. It fundamentally changed how we understand his death, sparked real conversations about systemic problems in law enforcement, and continued the complex legacy of an artist whose influence goes far beyond his music. The aftermath of this footage's release shows not just the immediate controversy, but the lasting impact on families, fans, communities, and institutions that are still dealing with its implications. The immediate impact on Juice's family can't be overstated. For over 4 years, they had been processing their grief and working to honor his memory in positive ways. His mother, Carmela Wallace, had established the Live Free 999 Foundation to support young people.
There it is. 999 help. There. Keep that on your wall. Keep a picture of that on your wall or whatever for just in case you need anybody, just if you
people
need
with
it.
anxiety, addiction,
never
and
know when you
depression,
need
turning personal tragedy into a force for helping others. The sudden release and viral spread of her son's final moments was like reopening wounds that had slowly begun to heal.
And we're sorry for that. And I'm sorry to Mrs. Juice WRLD, the mother. I'm sorry to the family. My prayers go out to all of them. I'm sorry this happened to you. And I'm sorry I got to end it right here, but make sure you do what you're supposed to do with the videos, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.